Droplets streaked across cafe windows, muffling the sounds of honking cars and hurried footsteps. Inside a cozy Italian restaurant, tucked away on a side street, Sofia Lane nervously fidgeted with her fork, her stomach knotted with dread. She wasn't supposed to be here. Her older sister, Vivian, had been the one set up on this blind date through a friend of a friend. Vivian, beautiful, ambitious, and always dressed in the latest fashion, hadn't been interested at all. But when she saw who the man was, a wealthy single father and CEO of a tech empire, she considered going, until she realized it wasn't her type of scene. "Go in my place, Sofia," Vivian had urged earlier that evening, tossing the invitation card onto the table. "You're better at being sweet and charming anyway. Besides, it's just dinner. What's the harm?" Sofia hesitated. She wasn't like her sister. She worked part-time at a bookstore, struggled to keep up with bills, and carried the heavy responsibility of helping their mother at home. But Vivian could be convincing, and so here Sofia sat, clutching her thrift store handbag, praying she wouldn't embarrass herself. The door opened, and in walked Adrian Cole. Sofia had seen his name in business magazines, an influential CEO who had built his tech company from the ground up. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with sharp features softened only by his deep blue eyes, but what caught him most was the air of calm authority around him. When he spotted her, Adrian walked over with a warm, reserved smile. "Sofia?" he asked, extending a hand. Her heart nearly stopped. Vivian had told her to use her real name, less chance of slipping up. Sofia nodded, her hand trembling slightly as she took his. "Yes, you must be Adrian." They settled into polite conversation, the clinking of glasses and soft violin music filling the silence between words. At first, Sofia was terrified he'd see right through her, but instead of grilling her about careers or ambitions, Adrian asked thoughtful questions. "What do you enjoy reading?" he asked, after noticing the small paperback peeking out of her purse. Sofia blinked, surprised. Most men barely noticed her, let alone her love for books. I like novels mostly. Anything that can take me somewhere else for a while." Adrian's gaze softened. Escaping reality can be a blessing sometimes. For a moment, there was a flicker of sadness in his eyes. Sofia dared to ask, "You've had a hard time lately?" He gave a small smile, almost bitter. "I lost my wife 3 years ago. Since then, raising my daughter has been both the hardest and most rewarding thing I've ever done." The sincerity in his voice tugged at Sofia's heart. She leaned forward slightly. "Your daughter must be very lucky to have you." He chuckled. "I'd say it's the other way around. She's 8, smart, stubborn, and has me wrapped around her little finger." Sofia found herself smiling, truly smiling for the first time that night. The conversation drifted naturally after that. They spoke about childhood dreams, favorite foods, and memories that still made them laugh. For once, Sofia didn't feel like the poor girl who barely scraped by. She felt seen. But reality came crashing back as the waiter placed dessert in front of them. She wasn't supposed to be here. She wasn't Vivian. And if Adrian ever found out... After dinner, Adrian walked her outside. The rain had softened to a drizzle, the city lights glimmering on wet pavement. "I had a wonderful evening," he said sincerely. Sofia hesitated. The words rose in her throat. "I'm not who you think I am," but fear silenced her. She only managed a soft, "Me too." He looked at her as if debating something. Finally, he said, "Would you like to meet my daughter sometime? I think she'd adore you." Sofia's chest tightened. She shouldn't. It was wrong. But against all logic, she nodded. The following Saturday, Adrian invited her to his mansion. Sofia's jaw nearly dropped at the towering estate. Everything was polished marble and sweeping staircases, so far from her tiny apartment. But the moment she met Arya, Adrian's daughter, everything else faded. Arya was shy at first, clutching a stuffed bunny, but within minutes she was showing Sofia her art supplies and proudly presenting her messy drawings. Sofia knelt beside her, encouraging her creativity. Arya giggled, a sound that Adrian hadn't heard in months. Watching from the doorway, Adrian felt something shift. Sofia wasn't like the women he had been introduced to before. They usually acted impressed by his wealth or status, but Sofia, she knelt on the carpet, listening as though Arya's scribbles were masterpieces. That evening, after Arya went to bed, Adrian offered Sofia tea. "You're different," he said quietly. Sofia's heart raced. "Different good or different bad?" "Good," he replied firmly. "You're genuine. It's rare." Sofia looked down at her cup, guilt pressing on her. She wanted to tell him the truth, but the thought of losing him and Arya terrified her. Weeks passed. One visit turned into several. Sofia and Arya grew inseparable, baking cookies together, painting messy canvases, and reading bedtime stories. Adrian began to look forward to Sofia's laughter echoing in the halls. But reality came crashing back. One afternoon, Adrian arrived unexpectedly at the bookstore where Sofia worked. He wanted to surprise her with lunch. Instead, he overheard a conversation between Sofia and Vivian. "You've been pretending to be me all this time? Do you know who he is? If he finds out, you're finished." Adrian froze, shock flooding through him. Pretending? When Sofia turned and saw him standing there, her face went pale. "Adrian, is it true?" His voice was cold, edged with betrayal. Tears stung her eyes. "I never meant to deceive you. Vivia was supposed to go on the date, but she didn't want to. I thought I'd only stay for dinner, but then I met you and Arya, and—" "You lied," he interrupted, hurt flashing across his features. "Do you know how much honesty means to me, to my daughter?" Sofia's voice broke. "I know, and I'm sorry. I'll walk away if that's what you want, but please believe me, I never cared about your money or status. I cared about you, about Arya." For days, Adrian avoided her. Sofia returned to her quiet, struggling life, aching with the emptiness where laughter used to be. But one evening, there was a knock on her door. When she opened it, Arya stood there holding Adrian's hand. The little girl's eyes were wet. "Daddy, I want Sofia back." Adrian looked at Sofia, his expression softer now. "Arya hasn't stopped asking for you, and, truth be told, neither have I." Sofia's breath caught. "I was angry," he admitted, "but I realized something. You could have walked away that first night. Instead, you stayed. Not for me, but for my daughter. That tells me more about your heart than the lie ever could." Tears spilled down Sofia's cheeks as Adrian reached for her hand. "Come back," he whispered, "not as someone else, just as Sofia." And for the first time, she allowed herself to believe in a future she had never dared to imagine.